device. Now I will go ahead and hit on the camera because we're pretty much already there. It did have a single camera setup, so that in and of itself kind of does, make me feel away, but it was a 16 megapixel sensor. You could do 4K videos on it, which was actually pretty surprising because this thing came out in 2014. There weren't really a crazy amount of phones that could do 4K. I don't know if the Galaxy S4 had that capability, but the Galaxy S6 had 4K, the iPhone 6s a year later from the Galaxy S5 had 4K. So I was really glad that this phone had that type of capability at this time. But as I stated, I didn't use the Galaxy S5 at that time. I only got it a few years later. But this single camera is still actually pretty decent when you consider the phone is a over 7-year-old phone, and the fact that it still turns on, still has a lot of capability. I think the camera is actually a pretty decent aspect of it, especially the price tag, all that stuff considered. If a phone manufacturer dropped a phone like this in this day and age today, it would be a horrible camera setup. It's a single camera. It's really not that great. No 4K 60, nothing like that. But I think the mixture of the software of the camera, which had a ton of features, and the quality of the lens that Samsung was using at the time, it was actually a really good camera setup for the most part, in my opinion. I just think the worst part about this camera, not even the 4K 60, not even the single camera lens with no multiple sensors, it's the front camera. The 2 megapixel front facing camera that's only 1080p, that is kind of a problem. I don't think that's a good thing. That's definitely more of a bad thing than anything else. But as I stated before, it is what it is. If there was one thing I could change about the camera on this phone, it would definitely be the front camera. But I think for all intents and purposes, this camera was net positive. I think it was a pretty good camera overall. But as stated, I would probably have something like, a Galaxy S8's front camera, even though that wasn't even that great. I would rather have something like that than this. So that really pretty much covers it up in the camera standpoint. Now moving